Hello everyone, this is Professor Walton, and today I'm going to talk to you about Assignment 2, the Annotated Bibliography. We're going to be giving you this assignment as Assignment 2, which is quite early on in the semester, so that you can have the opportunity to take your time and gather research before you write the researched argument paper later on in the semester. Before you start this assignment, the first thing you really need to do is come up with an idea for a research topic. Now, I know it's a little challenging to come up with a research topic before you get an assignment. However, this is the best way we have found to structure this assignment. So just go along with it and trust us. So you know that later on in the semester, you're going to be asked to write a researched argument paper that is anywhere from 6 to 8 pages long. You need to try to pick somewhat of a topic that you're interested in now before you begin the annotated bibliography. So far, you've read a little bit of the book Nickel and Dimed. What we want you to do is choose a topic about anything in the book that catches your eye, such as minimum wage or issues, or if you want to talk about the validity of the author's experiment, whatnot. You need to come up with some kind of topic to pursue. Chances are, and at least I'm hoping, and I know Ms. Coster's hoping, that you have come across something that has struck you in a personal way or has struck your interests. I know I've seen quite a bit of posts go through that, quite a few that seem to indicate that you're interested in topics at least. But if you don't have a topic idea right now, that's okay. Here is a listing of suggested topics. So just go through this, and this is at the end of the document. So this is page 2 and page 3. Skip on to page 2 and 3. Think about your topic. All right? I know it's a lot of pressure, but you need to do it. When you choose a topic, make sure that you're not limited to this listing. Just kind of use this as a guide. But make sure it's something that you feel passionate about, or that you're at least interested in enough to pursue for quite a bit of the semester. So don't pick something that you don't like because you're going to be stuck with it, and you won't find that very helpful. Now, a popular question is, well, what if I start the annotated bibliography and I complete it, and I want to change my topic? You can do that, but it's not a good idea. Now, you're going to have this assignment in your hands for quite some time. You're going to be working on the annotated bibliography starting now, and you're going to have until, let's look at the schedule real quick. So we're starting it right now in week 3, and it's due week 12. Okay? So you have 9 weeks to work on this annotated bibliography. I would suggest that you try to have your topic nailed down by week 5 to week 6. If you get to week 7 and you don't have your topic and you have absolutely no idea what you're writing about, please reach out to me. We can even have a quick chat via email. We can talk on Skype about it. And I know Ms. Coster can make arrangements with you to have a meeting as well if necessary. to talk about this. But you really want to try to have that topic nailed down by next week to week 6 at the latest. If you get to here or past week 7 and you do not have a research topic, then it's going to be very painful for you for the rest of the semester. And if you happen to be a person that's indecisive, you might want to brainstorm a list of, like 5 topics, then narrow it down to 3, and try to narrow it down to 2. Start looking up sources. I know you have a source assignment this week, and that could be beneficial to you. Use that source assignment to look up something that you think you're interested in as a topic. And if you have a difficult time finding things, then don't use that as your topic. If you find things that just don't, you can't find anything at all to support your side of your argument, then it might be a bad idea to use that argument as well. If you find things, but you're just noticing that you really don't agree with whatever side you chose, or you really don't care that much about what you're looking at, don't use that topic. But try to have something by week 5 or week 6. Alright. Okay, so you know that you have to choose your topic. You know that you're going to have this assignment in your hands for quite some time. You know that you need to have your topic chosen by week 6, so that gives you about 2 weeks. Starting next week, we will probably ask you to talk about your topic. So just start nailing this down. You know that. Now, let's talk about what the annotated bibliography really is. The annotated bibliography literally means a bibliography, which is a listing of sources, and annotated means notes. It's notes about your research. After you look at this assignment, I suggest that if you haven't done so already, please review the Chapter 6 lecture. The Chapter 6 lecture goes over this entire topic and the chapter in the Allen and Bacon book, and might be helpful to you. So for this assignment, your bibliography with notes, it's going to be MLA formatted. It's going to be as long as it needs to be to complete the requirements below. So you're going to find your argument. You are then going to find 7 to 10 scholarly sources and cite them correctly using an MLA format in the list and listing of works cited. So you create your works cited page. You have your sources. For each of those sources, you're going to track information. And this tells you a little bit more about why we're asking you to do things. But to get to the meat and bones of it, once you've read through each source, you're going to craft an annotation, a fancy list of notes for each source that's between 100 and 150 words long for each entry. So if you go above this, that's fine. As long as you meet the 100 word requirement, you're good. And that's 100 words for the whole thing. Now you're going to address each of these 3 things for those required words. You're going to summarize. So literally have a heading like this, summarize, and then summarize your source. What topics are covered? What are the main arguments? What's the point of the article or website? Now here I mentioned book. You can use a book as a source. I don't advise it unless you find a specific chapter of a book that's appealing. I think that you can do that, but I don't want you to have to read 250 pages of a book just for one source. Now, if you happen to have read a book in the past, maybe that you want to use, it's okay. If you're looking along and you find a chapter, and sometimes I'll do this too, I'll find a chapter that's maybe 20 pages long out of a book, then I'll go ahead and cite the book and focus on that chapter. But you would need to evaluate that chapter of the book. Next, after you summarize it, you're going to assess. So have this little bullet point, assess, under whatever your book title is. Right up here, have your book title, summarize, and assess. Evaluate the source. Is it useful? How does it compare with other sources that you've been looking at, or other sources that that you're already using? Is it reliable? Is the information reliable itself? Is the publisher reliable? Is the source biased or objective? Sometimes, especially in some of these arguments you're going to be looking at crafting later on, you'll find that people are very much biased when they write things, and that's okay. I know in newspapers, journalists are supposed to attempt to be as objective as possible. It probably depends on your newspaper, right? So think about the newspaper that you're using. Some newspapers are considered more conservative, and some are considered um, uh, more democratic. How can you tell these sorts of things if you don't know what the political leanings are of the newspaper that you're looking at? You can usually do a Google search, and you here we go back to using credible sources. Make sure you use a credible source to find out as well. But you can usually do searches and do some research and find out about the publication. Next, you're going to reflect. I want you to ask yourself, how does this source respond to my research question? Does it actually address what I'm talking about in my research question or my research? So if I mention research question, research topic, same thing, okay? So how does this help my research focus that I have right now? Is it helpful to you? It's okay to find, out of this list of 7 to 10, a resource or a source or two that are completely not helpful to you, and say that. I really don't want to see a list of 7 to 10 sources that were not helpful to you at all, though. I'd like to see some balance in there. It's completely healthy to find bad ones, but if you're finding bad ones, that's why you do this as you go along. For each time you find a source, write this out. Now, sometimes I'll find like 2 or 3 and then do it. That's okay. But you do not want to wait until the very end, the night before, and do this for 7 to 10 sources. Because then you might find yourself in a bucket where none of them actually work for you. And that's not the point of the assignment. The point of this assignment is to have you well prepared for the researched argument paper, because that's the big paper for this course. So we've covered most of this here. And again, my big advice for this is, first off, pick your topic soon. Have your topic chosen, your research topic that you're going to use for this paper, and that you would use for a researched argument paper. A researched argument paper is exactly like what it sounds. It's a paper based on research that presents an argument, and it talks about an argument. So you have to pick a topic for that argument. And this, again, should be all about nickel and dimed, right? And if you have trouble with that, look at this listing. And when you make your annotated bibliography, and I'm not kidding you when I say this, literally, copy and paste this. Make 10, like 1 through 10 or 1 through 7 entries. Copy that right there. Paste it in. And then make sure that you're meeting that 100 to 150 word requirement. And write it out for each one and put the title of the article or book here. Make sure after you do all that you make sure your entire listing is listed correctly as a works cited. And then you're done. But yeah, I always make sure I copy that. And if you don't want to do that for some reason, make sure you keep this assignment handy so that you can look back at it. Okay, if you have any questions at all, please reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help. And remember to look over the assignment or chapter 6 lecture for the Allen and Bacon book to get a little bit more insight into this. You can also just look back at your readings in chapter 6 as well. That's all. Thank you for listening.